Okay.
You could have done those two and those two.
Still only got 1 8 down there.
But still could have used this if I have something in my hand that matches this.
You know,
Oh, so you can pick
That's
this
great
card
to know.
up to share with these cards.
Yes, when you're when you're
When you're
playing.
dropping.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
I think I got it.
so you didn't have to play the queen. You could play anything. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So if I just for practice sake,
Yeah.
if I were to do my eights,
Yeah,
put
very
this
good.
down and now I can flip it.
Yeah.
Or not yet.
No, you can only flip it when you play it.
Tuesday, March 8th, 2022. I will lead the Pledge of Allegiance and I will ask Commissioner Olvera to lead an invocation. Please stand. Right hand salute and pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord, we give you thanks for allowing us to be here today. We ask that you give us the wisdom and knowledge to make decisions that will benefit our community. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Okay. There are all commissioners present except for Commissioner Wiebe. We'll move on to the next item. We'll entertain a motion for approval of the agenda tonight.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Okay.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next item, minutes from the previous meeting. Last meeting was the regular meeting, February 8th, 2022. I'll entertain a motion if you had a chance to review those.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from February 8th. Second.
Yes.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Okay, we'll move right into public comment. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons wanting to address the commission only on matters not listed on this agenda. We'll open public comment. Do we have anyone who wishes to speak? No? Okay, we will close public comment, open the public hearing section of this meeting. Move right into item number 1, which is tentative track map 6467, time extension for phase 2. And we will ask staff to present.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman Frotz. This is extension of time for tentative track 6467 phase 2. Originally, the entire track, both phases 1 and 2, were approved in February of 2005 by the City Council. In 2006, the first phase was recorded. This that we're describing tonight is phase 2, which consists of 90 single-family residential lots ranging in size from about 8,000 square feet to about 1.3 acres in lot size. The applicant is requesting a 2-year extension to expire February 15th of 2024. And the EOT was requested because they are waiting for the right opportunity to develop. Just to let you know that a new development agreement would be required in the future because it has expired. Can you flip it to the next one, Vanessa? This happens to be the site of phase 2. Go ahead and go to the next one. This is the original track for phase 2, just to give you a sense of what the track looks like. And you can go ahead and go to the next one. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission conduct a hearing and adopt Resolution 22394, approving the 2-year extension of time for tentative track 6467, phase number 2. And if you have any questions, we'd be more than happy to answer them.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions for the staff before we open this up for public comment? All right, we will open up item number 1 for public comment. Do we have anyone who wishes to speak in favor or against this agenda item? Okay, seeing none, bring it back to commissioners if you have any questions, or we'll entertain a motion for this time extension.
And like we talked about, it's
it will be just consider the opening up that street when the development agreement is made, right?
I would defer to Suzanne.
If somebody comes in to record the map, how Aldrich connects to the new phase of the map would have to be addressed then, but I believe the idea was that we would need to close Aldrich off. The other thing to keep in mind, this is the last extension of time for this map.
Okay.
So if it's not recorded in the next 2 years, it will die. I'll have to come back and completely redo it.
Okay.
So.
Great. Any other questions?
No.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the extension, the 2-year extension for resolution 22394 regarding tentative track 6467.
I'll second. Yes.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we'll move on to item number 2, which is development agreement number 21-20 for tentative track number 6490.
Yes. Honorable Commission, this is a development agreement 2120 for tentative track 6490. It is a, why don't you go to the next slide there? It's for a 29-acre site with 107 total single-family residential lots, ranging in size from about 7,000 to about 18,500 square foot in size for the lots. The development agreement includes a few new nuances that have been worked out between planning and the city manager's office. Essentially, there's going to be a traffic impact fee that will be capped at up to $10,000 per dwelling unit. There's also a park impact fee of up to $5,000 per dwelling unit, as well as 2 community facilities district formations, one for landscape and lighting maintenance, and the other for police and fire protection. The applicant has seen the development agreement and has signed. That's correct.
Yes.
Yes, it has signed. These are a little different from other ones. And the reason why these things are capped up to is currently we're doing some nexus studies on fees. And we don't know the conclusion of those nexus studies and what those fees will be. So we are essentially creating some assurance for the applicant that it will be no more than this. And if the nexus studies come back with less fees, the fees will be reduced from this cap.
Okay.
Go ahead and go to the next slide. This just gives you a sense of the site. Go ahead and go to the next slide. This is the new tract for the new map for tentative track 6490, the track that this development agreement is for. Go ahead and go to the next one. So the staff's recommendation is to conduct a hearing and to adopt resolution 22395, recommending approval of development agreement 2120 for track 6490 to the city council. And if you have any questions, we're more than happy to answer them.
I have one minor thing. I handed out some new floor plans and elevation drawings. Somehow I managed to grab the wrong set of plans for what's attached in your staff report. So if you, in your recommendation, will acknowledge that there's a different set of floor plans that should be forwarded on to the city council, I would appreciate that.
Okay. Do that. Thank you. Any questions for staff from the commissioners at this time?
Is the traffic on Los Angeles, is that going to be a problem? That's pretty crowded over there right now. Is there going to be any kind of signal or anything?
On Los Angeles, I believe Caltrans and the city are working on constructing a roundabout. That would help alleviate some of that issue because it'll keep traffic moving better. The traffic mitigation that was required for the map that was part of the environmental document that was done in 2005 addressed, that was prior to having East Ash or having, East Ash extended, but that extension was done as part of the construction of the Amelia Cadena Apartments. So that's already been completed.
So for this, South Mano would have to be built.
So they'll
road.
build South Mano, yes.
There's an entrance off
And-
South Mano and Los Angeles.
And yes, and they'll widen Los Angeles in front of the subdivision.
And South Mantle will be 2 lanes.
Yes.
Any more questions?
I have one, just curious on the names of the street. How do those get decided? Just curious.
The developers propose street names to us. We send them to the sheriff's 911 coordinator. They verify that it's not going to create a conflict within the 911 system.
Okay.
We also send it to RPD and they check it to make sure that they don't see any issues. The concerns of our local PD versus the 911 people is a little bit different. One of the concerns is trying to find names that don't sound like other names in town. This particular map, the street name, several of the street names got rejected originally. Keep in mind, this map was approved in 2005.
Okay.
So it's almost 20 years old.
Yeah.
And so some of the street names changed, but what's on this map is what was agreed upon with 911. But primarily they go through 911 to make sure that there's not a conflict. Their rules have changed over the course of my career. It used to be they couldn't be the same in a certain geographic area, and then it became they couldn't be the same throughout the county. So, but we do try to prevent there being similar sounding names, especially with things in Gossamer Grove, so that they don't mishear it and send somebody to Gossamer, to someplace here when they should be in Gossamer Grove and stuff like that.
Exactly.
And then as part of your review and the council's review, that's one of the things that you have the ability to say, this street name isn't appropriate, or, you know, it's going to be confusing. Can we pick? And usually the developers will give us a list of 4 or 5 extra names that we can draw from so that we don't have to go back through 911 again.
Okay. Now, and when these maps are drawn and say like the delay on this development for this area, are those names recorded and those names are provided in addition to new areas that are being developed? So
No,
that there's-
once 911 logs it for a location, it's reserved.
Okay,
So they can't duplicate it someplace else.
okay. Well, you answered my question. That's where I
Yeah.
was going with it. So thank you.
Yeah, no, they somehow keep track of them. And then once the map records and they get notified, then they activate them.
Yeah, no, because there's a couple of
That's my
streets in town that we've had that situation in the past
Yeah,
for the, I was like, why would?
but
And
no,
so you have to really listen and make
Yeah,
sure you're
and
going in the right direction.
if you see something, I mean, you're, because of your familiarity with town too, and that problem, if you ever see anything when a map comes through that you see as being a problem, make sure you point it out and let us know.
Okay.
Because I don't necessarily know, and your perspective is completely different from what, to me, it wouldn't sound that much the same. But I know Captain Bell used to, well, we can't use that one.
Yeah, no, it's,
So
Okay.
yes, please do let us know if you see something that you think is going to be a problem, and we'll have them provide us with another name if we don't already have one.
perfect. Thank you.
Okay. This time we'll open up public hearing for this item. If anybody would like to speak in favor or against this item, please do so now. No one wishing to speak. We'll close the public hearing and bring it back to the commissioners for any additional questions, or we'll entertain a motion, and again, reference the new plans in the recommendation.
No questions. I'll motion to adopt resolution 22-395. Development agreement 21-20 for tentative track 6490. And also reference the new plans with the corrections that were made for it.
A second.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. We'll move on to item number 3, which is notice of non-renewal number 22-30. Staff, please.
Yes, Honorable Commission. This is a notice of non-renewal. Go ahead and go to the next slide, please, Vanessa. It's on 19.55 acres, which is APN 026-010-26. This APN is currently designated low-density residential by the general plan and is zoned agriculture by the zoning ordinance. Future residential is planned currently at this site. It is also currently owned by the city. Currently, this parcel is under a Williamson Act land use contract. If approved by your commission, the notice of non-renewal must be recorded by the county recorder. Once, or rather, I'm sorry, not approved, but if recommended for approval by you, would go to the city council for possible approval. Once recorded, the non-renewal is recorded. The contract does not renew. In 10 years, the contract lapses, and after 10 years, the site can be developed for something other than agricultural use. Go ahead and go to the next slide, please, Vanessa. So this is the site, just to let you know where it is. Go ahead and go to the next one. Essentially, the reason for this is that the city on the eastern portion, there's an eastern and a western portion, and this is the western portion of a larger area. The eastern portion is going to go through, is already essentially null and void because that under a Williamson Act contract, it's now null and void because the city is going to use the eastern portion for a public use, namely a water well, a retention basin, and a park. Now the western portion is residential. It's not used for a public use. Now, the city would like to reserve it for potential future residential here in the next 10 years, but right now we can't do that. So the first step, sort of unencumbering the site from a Williamson Act contract, is to do this non-renewal process. So with that, staff recommends that you conduct a hearing and that you recommend to receive and file this notice of non-renewal to the city council. And with that staff presentation, we're more than happy to answer questions.
So the 10 years starts from now then? Or
Yeah,
once the city council approves.
Correct. And what happens is if you don't cancel, it just auto renews. And so there's a certain amount of time that we have to get it in so that we can get it onto the next year's the beginning of the non-renewal process. And that's why we're processing it now, so we can get it, we can start that non-renewal process and get the land unencumbered.
Okay.
It actually non-renews after 9 years. You stop. Once it gets filed, then January 1st of next year, the contract doesn't renew. And then you've got 9 years where the contract will continue.
Okay. Any other questions for staff? Okay, we'll open up public hearing for this item. Anybody wish to speak in favor or against this item, please do so now. Okay, seeing none, we'll close public comment.
I'll make a recommendation that we find the requested action is exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act. Move to recommend that the City Council of City of Shafter receive and file notice of non-renewal number 22-30 and direct staff to record the same.
I'll second. Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we're moving on to management reports.
Sure. This management report is essentially a request of staff to consider whether this commission would like to change the regular scheduled planning commission meeting start time from 7 o'clock as it is now to 6 p.m. The main reason I think the 7 o'clock time was agreed upon in the past was that there was a need to allow the public enough opportunity to get here. As we have seen in the last few planning commission meetings, we've had a pretty light public audience. Purely from a staff's perspective, it would just be easier to stay here for 1 hour rather than 2 after work that ends at 5 o'clock. But again, this is completely up to the discretion of the commission. If you guys feel that 7 o'clock is the appropriate time, we're more than happy to come at 7. But if you would like to change it to 6, this is the opportunity in the form to do so.
Okay. The only thing I request is that we continue to make these meetings available to the public with the, I mean, they can come, of course, but through the internet, however that may be, I know through YouTube or Zoom. I think this room is set up for that for the foreseeable future. So if we can accommodate that, in my opinion, it shouldn't be an issue. If this gets approved, does this go into, how could it be moved back if that ever was a desire?
At any point, any of you could make a request to consider it again. And we could again put it on a future agenda and discuss it again if for some reason you feel like it's not the right move after making the move.
Okay.
I just know in times past, we've had this place full and out on the street, basically with Gossamer Grove and a couple other subdivisions. And seemed like the 7 o'clock time was appropriate to allow people to get ready to come down here after work. But, now that we have the electronics here to do it, maybe things are different.
And I don't see from all indications from the city manager's office that they're going to change the product protocol regarding Zoom. It functions, it works well. It gives another opportunity for the public to engage in this commission and in city council. So I don't see any reason why having a Zoom option is going to go out the window here.
Right. That's why I asked, in case that went away.
Yeah.
And then we see that there's an issue.
And if for some reason the council or the city manager or someone decides, hey, we're gonna cancel that, which again, I don't assume, we can't always reopen this for that very same reason, to give the public the opportunity to be a part of this commission and the commission. So,
Do we need a motion for this, or are we just voting? We need a motion? Okay, we'll entertain.
Well, here's a recommendation. To adopt resolution, planning commission adopt resolution 22-393, a resolution, the planning commission, the city of Shafter, changing the meeting start time to 6 p.m.
I'll second.
May I ask a question before we vote? And is this, we're putting this into effect, does it have an effective date there? It just effective tonight?
it would
For next month?
effective
Yeah.
next meeting.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Okay,
Yes.
made the motion.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Hi,
Just a point of order, Vanessa, did we get a second on that?
yeah,
I
Yes.
seconded.
Okay,
Yes,
okay, I'm
yes.
sorry, I didn't.
okay. For I think the third month, we'll move on to organizational business.
We almost have all of you. I think we're ready to do this.
Right. So we'll do an election here.
It's pretty simple. We,
Yeah.
it's that time of year to elect a new chair and vice chair of the commission. I will defer to the commission on whom they would like to nominate for those two positions.
Right.
I'll
We'll open nominations,
Okay.
I guess.
Since Peter does such a good job, I will nominate Peter to be the chairman again next year.
I don't know we could do that, but I'll follow his lead too, so he's doing a great job.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty mellow here, you know.
Yeah,
pretty
right.
loose guys,
Yeah.
you know, you have good rapport with each other.
Yeah.
And sometimes they do a round robin kind of thing, so everyone gets a chance, but
That's what we've been doing, really. I mean, I don't know if you want to do it again.
That's fine. I mean, I don't have to, but whatever you guys think. Okay, do we need nominations for
just to
vice?
make
or-
sure, does anyone else want to throw their hat in the ring for chairman, or do we just have one?
Not yet. I don't.
Yeah.
Need more
I feel a little more
experience.
comfortable,
Yeah.
more in-person.
More
meetings
in-person
before I do
meetings.
that. That's
Fair
right.
enough. Well, it sounds like that's kind of, since there's no other, I'd probably just do a roll call on that.
Yeah.
Okay, I made the motion.
No second. Yes.
You almost got it.
Aye.
You're done already.
Well, that means I don't have to change all my people.
Yeah.
There you go.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Congratulations.
All right,
Once again, being the chair.
let's
Now we go to vice
vice
chair.
chair. Yeah.
I recommend Mr. Nunless for it.
Okay.
To make a nomination there.
I agree.
So we got a motion and a second.
Yes.
Aye.
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 Nay.
All right. Organizational business is set. Let's move on to commissioner reports. Anything to report? Looks like we have a little bit of action across the street. Construction action.
Oh.
Yeah.
They're relocating the lift station.
Okay.
There's a sewer lift station that's kind of closer to the Brookside building.
Okay.
It's actually in the street. And so they're to accommodate the car wash and the fact that that one's really hard to maintain and old. They're relocating and enlarging the sewer lift station. So that's what all that activity is. That's a city project.
Okay.
And then once it's in place, then the car wash and all that development
Right. Can start.
move forward.
Well, Starbucks is really coming along.
Yeah, they're moving now.
Are they? I haven't
Yeah.
been down there in a while.
Yeah, they're really moving.
They-
I saw a couple guys with clipboards over here the other day, so. I was
Oh,
like,
okay.
Oh, are we?
Well, Alex Gonzalez
going?
and Weston were out there yesterday, but there's lots of beep, beep, beeping going on outside our door, outside of mine and Steve's windows.
Mhm. A lot of cars moving in and out using our, that's all right. But yeah, and it's not only that, but I guess from what Suzanne said is that, you know, every once in a while, that old lift station, you know, backed up a little
It
bit.
backed
and
up.
it's not
Only
the best
once.
smell.
Sure.
Yeah.
But it smelled.
It's okay. It's being relocated.
Yeah.
There you go.
Relocated, more importantly, expanded.
Right.
So
Right. Okay, anything else?
No.
All right.
What about on beach? The for sale signs are down on all those
Yeah.
lots
that's
up
true.
there. Is there any move on those?
No, the last contact I had with the owner was they were having difficulty with PG&E.
Well, that's been ongoing for several years.
Yeah, well, that map, you know, they're trying to record the map, but they have to get their utility plans approved by PG&E. There's some utilities they have to put in. And they're trying to get the plans approved by PG&E, and she was kind of getting caught in a vicious circle. So I believe she came in and talked to Dennis, and he tried to kind of guide her as to what needed to be done. And I never heard what happened. So, but yeah, they need to get that recorded and then they can sell the lots. But right now the map's not recorded yet.
Well, they had the signs up.
Yeah,
for a
I
long
know. And I told them that was not, they can't sell the lots until they actually have lots to sell.
Yeah.
And, but they don't listen to me. We did finally get phases 1 and 2
Free market.
of track 7318, the one up on the north side of Tulare.
Yeah.
The first two phases of that map have now recorded. The second phase recorded last week. So they actually now do have lots they can sell.
The north side of Tulare.
North side of Tulare.
That was the one that
um,
exchanged hands a couple times.
Yes, that Tarina Homes started.
East side of Beach.
Or, No.
It's west
West
of
of-
Riker
No.
yes.
at Ryan and,
Well, there's 5 or 6 houses in
yeah, they,
various stages of
Yes.
construction out there.
yeah,
Gotcha.
so those are, they'll finally, it was a struggle, but we finally got that one recorded. So they can finish building those houses, and as they work on finishing up their improvements, because they still have to build a block wall and put in landscaping and all that kind of stuff. And last I heard, the power poles were still in the street.
They are.
I think he told me that PG&E, they were on PG&E's schedule for sometime the middle of March. So I think PG&E will be up there fairly soon to get those out of the way and get things undergrounded. And then this one we just did the development agreement on. They need the development agreement to be in place to keep the map alive because the map is so old. By getting the development agreement done, they'll gain 5 years to finish building the map. But they're already grading and
Yeah.
moving
Yeah, we
forward.
said grading at risk. We said you can grade,
Yeah.
you know, Kevin Harmon, our engineer, said you can grade, but it's at risk because you don't have a finalized map.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what we're pushing through here earnestly so that that map doesn't die. And it can be resolved.
But they've run into issues with SWID. They found out afterwards that there was a 20-foot easement on the east side of the property that didn't show up in the original title report. So it wasn't shown on the map. And there's an actual water line in that easement. And you can't put the water line in people's backyards. So they had to move the property line over 20 feet to get the water line on the outside of the fence. And then they transferred ownership of that 20 feet to the adjacent property owners on the east. So Omni and a guy named David Pizer.
And that's what ended up pushing this map to like the
So
last minute.
I've been waiting for them to finish their lot line adjustment, but they ran into some problems with Omni's property. So we finally got it fixed. So the lot line adjustment finally recorded 2 weeks ago. So
Susanna's been putting in
It's-
extra effort on that one.
it's been a challenge, but we're finally making some headway. So hopefully we'll get those going. And then we've got people that are working on the Orchard Park development between Tulare and Fresno on the east side of Beach. So the Handles old property, we have a developer that is, I believe escrow closes later this week. They're buying 40 of the acres. You may see some amendments to their specific plan in the future. They want to tweak it a bit.
There was already a plan for.
Yeah,
all that,
there's a-
right?
There's a specific plan called Orchard Park, kind of like Gossamer Grove and Heritage Ranch, the ones down on 7th Standard. This one has a linear park path that runs from Fresno down to Tulare with kind of a park in the middle. There's an oil pipeline that runs down between those two parcels. And so that's how they've provided
Not to put
space,
houses on it.
space for the pipeline to be there. But the Handles still own the east half and aren't ready to develop yet. So, but the development company, a land development company owns the west half. And they've been trying to find somebody to build that project ever since I've been here. So,
And if you guys are ever interested in the specific plans themselves, they're actually on the website, our website in the planning department has a list of documents now that we've uploaded. So you can look at these specific plans anytime.
Okay. Anything else, or I'll entertain a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
We're adjourned.